10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is October 17th and we've got quite a packed episode here, so let's get started without any ado. So the first thing I'm going to start with is this protocol update from Mav. So he says, hey everyone, plans for Istanbul are really starting to come together now. We want to hear from you if you'll be in town. You can indicate your presence here in the conferences channel, and there's a link to the conference channel. And it says, and don't forget, staking rewards are still offering discounted tickets to node operators for a few more days. I think that's until the 22nd. And then he goes on to say, we've also had requests for feedback from Term Finance, who I covered in Rocket Fuel last week, and they're considering supporting the borrowing of RPL against our ETH fixed borrow rate. So it's kind of like what Aave are doing, but instead of a variable rate, there'll be a fixed rate. And we're interested to see if anyone would be interested in participating on the supply side by providing RPL. Feel free to reply to this comment with any thoughts, and there's a link to trading, or message Squelch, which is, I guess, a person from Term Finance who popped into trading a couple of times. So they're looking for some RPL liquidity. If you have some RPL lying around, and if you are interested in putting that into Term Finance, then follow the instructions of the message that is there. The link to this comment that you can see on the screen, the protocol message, is in the description, and you can just follow that to trading from there. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's have a quick look at this conferences post that Mav has linked to and see what's going on there. So it says, drop a thumbs up if you're going to be in Istanbul for the staking summit or ETH Staker gathering. And then there are Wanda and Maverick both said yes, they will be in Istanbul for the staking summit, and both of them, and Ostonst, I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry, said yes. I know a whole bunch of other people are going also, but maybe they just haven't seen this post, or they haven't gotten to that yet. But that, of course, is really cool that Istanbul is coming, and it's going to be really awesome. Yeah, Ken here is going to be going, so it looks like it's going to be a really good conference with some really cool people there. I wish that I was going, and I had the intention to go, but there's other stuff happening at that same time, literally that same weekend, or that same week, and that means that I won't be able to go, sadly, because I can't be in two places at once. So yeah, anyway, alongside that protocol update, there was a community call that came through. So here there's a Rocket Pool AMA with DForce. And after the AMA, Ken had some questions of Maverick. This call, I think, is still going on right now, so I can't really provide you with much of an update of what's being said. However, the main piece of news that was released during this protocol update, this call, is that the new dev has signed all the paperwork and everything is good, and they will be starting their position with Rocket Pool on Monday, the 23rd. I think it's the 23rd, Monday the 23rd of October, which is Monday coming next week. So if I got that date wrong, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it's the 23rd. So that's really exciting. It'd be really nice to see who the new team member is. I believe we still don't know that information. And I'm curious to see like what they'll be working on and how all that's going to go. So that's really exciting. And yeah, I'll let you know more about that when I get more information. Okay, moving on from there. Now we've got this update here where people were looking at the number of stake on Rocket Pool, and this has been going on for the last few days. You know, where we've been above 9 million, getting close to 9,990,000 even. So Ramana here saw some stake. He was able to change the stake to make it 9,999,999.696969. So Ramana was the last person to get a stake in before 10 million. And then we had this bossy screenshot from Rocket Scan where it said 10 million was staked. However, this was rounding the number, so it wasn't quite exactly 10 million at this point. We were still below 10 million. And then here we had the event spot saying that 10 million RPL has been staked, and then that's when we went through to 10 million 133, which was really wonderful to see that we broke this huge milestone for Rocket Pool, and it's really exciting that it's happened. And congratulations to all the node operators who are staking with Rocket Pool. Congratulations to the protocol for reaching this milestone. So the total RPL in circulation now are just under 20 million. So we are just above 50% of all RPL tokens staked. And I think in 1 year's time from today, or maybe a little bit more than 1 year's time from today, within 14 months, basically, I think that number is going to be up bigly. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I think NodeSet is going to absorb a lot of RPL into their contracts, and then also once Saturn goes live in just over a year's time, it seems like we'll be getting some good stuff happening there as well. So this is really an exciting time for Rocket Pool. Of course, hitting a milestone is really great, but not only is hitting the milestone great, but seeing the upcoming catalysts that will help you reach the next milestones, that's the part that gets me most excited, and that's what I'm very excited about. So here Bossy then took that screenshot from RocketScan and put it in a tweet and put it out there for the world to see. He says, congrats to Rocket Pool for hitting 10 million RPL staked. That's 51% staked and counting, and I think by December 31st 2024 we'll be at around 75 to 80% staked. That's my feeling. Let's see what happens. My predictions are, I've got a really bad habit of having bad predictions, so it might be less than that. Most likely will be less than that, but yeah, we'll talk about that next time. Okay, the main thing that I want to talk about today is something that's close and near and dear to my heart, which is the GMC. So we talked about this GMC thread that Schifrin put up last week, saying, hey, we need people to volunteer, to nominate themselves, and kind of step up in the community to join the GMC, because our 1 year term is up, and we are now starting afresh with a new slate of 9 GMC members. So here. I covered this on last week's episode, but Schifrin kind of talked about all the different duties that were involved for being in the GMC and other things like that. Like what an average month looks like, what duties you have, and then talked about how to nominate. So he says anyone can nominate anyone, including themselves. Anyone who's currently a GMC member or previously a GMC member can be nominated again, and anyone can remove themselves for consideration by simply saying that they don't want to be nominated. And he says, if you are nominated, don't remove yourself from consideration. Please read the nominee information sharing section of RPip 10 so you can be ready to provide your statements. It's recommended to choose a subcommittee you are interested in. So people, that's where Schifrin nominated me. I said I accept. We already covered this on last week's episode, but since then we've had Valdorf coming in and nominating people such as Pateris, Fornax, Popash, Invis, Scuzzle, I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry, Scuzzle, I guess, Pieter and Epinef, and then Pateris said thanks but no thanks. Popash said thanks but no thanks. Schifrin then nominated Destroyer. Destroyer said that he accepts, or they accept. Valdorf nominated some more people, looking for Owls, who's been a member of the community for a really long time. Find Your Moon, of course, we've covered his TA stuff on Rocket Fuel a bunch of times. He's been in the community for a really long time too. Ken sadly ended up nominating himself again, but that's just because he hadn't made it clear in that previous meeting that he was going to run, otherwise Schifrin would have nominated him. But so Ken is up for nomination, and then Joe says that he would like to accept the nomination. Invis declined. Epinef accepted the nomination. Schifrin then nominated Rocknet, and he accepted, and Looking for Owls accepted as well. Pieter declined, and Feeling Good, Feeling Great, that's Kent, accepted the nomination. So we're getting a nice roster here. However, if you are interested in this, if you're watching this, there's still a little bit of time left for you to nominate yourself. I've reached out a bunch of people like please go ahead and nominate yourselves. There's no harm in that. Like, you've got nothing to lose, and it's a really great way to give back to the Rocket Pool community. And I think it's really like a fine service that I've thoroughly enjoyed for the previous year, and I can't wait to do it again, hopefully, if I get elected in the coming year. So please come into the thread and nominate yourself. And if you don't, like, for some reason, if you can't do that, just tell trading that you'd like to nominate yourselves, and one of us can write a post nominating you in the forum. So please consider that. Please think about it. I think it's a really great thing. So yeah, it would be really great if we had, like, a lot of people nominating, so we can choose the top 9, and then the people who rank after that would be like the backup, who we can reach out to in case any of the first 9 need to leave the GMC for some reason. Okay, next we had this tweet and retweet from EigenLayer. So EigenLayer said, "Are you a dedicated Ethereum solo staker? Is decentralization your passion? Do you want to contribute to Ethereum's consensus and EigenLayer restaking?" It says, "We're excited to roll out the EigenLayer solo staking working group," and they go on to say that. But here GLC Staked says, "Rocket Pool node operators, EigenLayer is creating a solo staker working group. We need some Rocket Pool representation in here. Apply if interested." GLC Stake says, "You can't repoint mini pools right now. Rocket Pool makes up a big portion of the network's decentralized independent node operators, and integrations are on the way." So I'm not sure exactly what they meant by that, but yeah, Rocket Pool node operators can reach out and try to have some say on this working group that EigenLayer are making. So if you're interested in doing that, please do reach out. So what's happened here is we have discussion from the community talking about like what it means. Invis says that they spelled Rocket Pool as one word, so instead of 2 words, so the opinion is invalidated. Valdov says it mentions Rocket Pool but clearly states that 0x01, so that's if you changed your withdrawal credentials after Shanghai. It says it won't work, so that's fun. So what's happened is that with Rocket Pool, from the very beginning, all node operators have used 0x01 credentials, so it says that won't work. It says, and it's also a survey for solo stakers and asks you to select all the LSTs your platform supports right now. So I think there's some, and this says it's EigenLayer, and then Valdov says I exaggerate but barely, and it says, "Validated experience. What of the following liquid staking or DVT protocols do you support or plan to support in the next 6 months?" So like, how would a solo staker like be involved in any of that stuff? I guess DVT maybe. But anyway, there's some questions around it, but if you are interested in it, then reach out to them or tweet at them with your questions, and I'm sure EigenLayer would be happy to respond to that. Okay, next we have some DeFi integrations and things that we're going to be talking about. So the first one here is from Myso Finance, and they start with my favorite word, saying it's no secret that we love Rocket Pool, what Rocket Pool is doing to decentralize and democratize Ethereum, and we're happy to support users with funding and spinning up new nodes. So here's some really interesting stuff that Myso are working on. It says, learn how to use Myso to accomplish this and put your RPL to work. So they say you can now pledge RPL as collateral and borrow against it on Myso with no liquidations. There are many live loan offers available to borrow USDC or RETH against your RPL stack. Some active quotes allow you to take up 6 times exposure on your RPL, 1 click to lever up. I'm really curious to see how this mechanism will work with liquidations. Then they say, for RETH holders and other lenders, you can support your fellow Rocketeers by lending and accepting RPL as collateral, help spin up more nodes and earn yield on your idle assets. You can create loan offers and fully customize the terms like the LTV, interest rate, tenor, etc. Then Myso go on to say it's a win-win for the entire ecosystem. If you're a node operator with excess RPL, pledge it as collateral to get RETH, etc., and spin up new nodes. Rocketeers with idle RETH or other tokens can support the network otherwise with otherwise idle capital. And he says, let's get this number to 5,000 plus, and there's a number of node operators right now is at 3,286. And then they go on to say lending against RPL isn't just ambitious but grounded. and they say backtesting to RPL inception shows robustness with 95% worst case loss limited to less than 10% yearly heat map. So they've got like some data showing that that's unlikely to lose out, and it says almost all loans with LTVs between 30 and 60% and tenors of 30 to 120 days would have been profitable without default. So that's backtesting. Of course, it doesn't tell you what might happen in the future, but they seem pretty confident about that. And then it says historical backtesting also demonstrates that even lending USD against RPL would be quite attractive. Most positions would be profitable, and the heat map for the 95th percentile worst case losses would show modest losses at riskier LTV and tenor combos. So they've got some heat maps there as well. And then it says based on RPL our ETH volatility, 50 to 70% per annum. Analysis on our Black Skulls pricer. I guess there's some mechanism they're using there to give it numbers. It says suggests fair APRs between 4 to 10% for up to 60% LTVs and tenors up to 150 days. Fair APRs should target higher LTVs and tenor combos. So it says if you're interested in retaining and increasing upside in your excess RPL, or if you want to lend to fellow Rocketeers, join our over-the-counter network. We'll go over requesting loan quotes through the over-the-counter network soon. And it says the possibilities for use cases and loan offerings are endless, and we're here to support the Rocket Pool community with spinning up new nodes and customizing loans to their liking. Head to app.myso finance to tap in. So this is not a product that I've ever used, or I've not been paid or anything like that for any of this content, but it seems like they're doing some really exciting stuff with using RPL on the secondary market, and I am always a huge supporter of RPL being used in ways that move beyond just staking with Rocket Pool. So this is really wonderful stuff. Of course, it's a brand new protocol. This version 2, I think it's version 2 that they're working on now. Version 2, it's a DeFi protocol. You can there's risks involved. You can lose what you put in. Please be aware of that and do your own research into the protocol, like checking their audits and all that kind of stuff before you invest sizable sums of money into there. But the guys at Myso are doing really exciting stuff. Etienne, he's popped into trading a bunch of times. He's got really good ideas, and there are a couple of other members of their team as well who pop into the Rocket Pool Discord fairly regularly, and they've always left like good positive impressions. And that's not to say that just be careful. I should say, just be careful when you interact with any new protocol like this. But it seems like some of the work that they're doing is really exciting. So definitely do more research on that if you are curious all about it. Okay, let's move on from there to another DeFi application. Here we have Pancake Swap, and Valdorf has an update about it, and he says, let me just actually change this. He says Pancake Swap are ETH, WETH liquidity providers. Incentives will be switching from a farm approach to a Merkle approach. This means you won't need to stake your LP tokens. You'll claim somewhere else, and the claim will be a mix of RPL and Cake. Rocket Pool and Pancake Swap are still incentivizing with the same total spend. Keep an eye out for the tweet. And this is just a heads up ahead of time. So then we have the tweet that Val was referencing over here, and here Pancake Swap is saying new Ethereum Merkle rewards with Rocket Pool. Provide our ETH on the 0.05% version 3 liquidity pool, and you'll earn the Cake token and RPL. Seed liquidity on the ETH Pancake Swap. Claim rewards on Merkle. So there's this address then to the seed, and then there's a place where you can go claim your money, and then here's the incentives that are going to be going into there every day. 580 Cake tokens per day, which is around $600 I think, and 63 RPL tokens per day, which is around $1,200 or something along those numbers. Then so they say this is how the Merkle works. So then there's a link to the Angle protocol to kind of explain that, and then it says that distributing about $1,880 every day in incentives to provide liquidity to these pools. And it says to qualify, just put your crypto in that pool, and there's no need to do anything else like stake your liquidity LP token or that NFT anywhere else, and the Merkle will accrue rewards to you. So this seems like they're kind of branching out into new technology, and if you want to provide liquidity there, you can get a share of the rewards that they are giving out. Okay, next we had Liquity here, who posted about the GMC and other communities kind of like integrating with Liquity. So here Liquity said the ultrasound stable as a treasury asset, LUSD is a treasury asset, as a treasury asset continues to gain momentum. Congratulations to both Rocket Pool and BAO community for opting for maximum resilience. The Rocket Pool Grants and Bounties Committee, hey, that's me, will be allocating 20% of incoming payments each month into LUSD. So that's part of our diversification scheme that we came up with. Shout out to Dondo for coming up with the good ideas for that, and then the community for approving it. And then they're talking about BAO community swapping from USDC to LUSD. So here they've got a little meme with the Drake one saying like you don't want to say no to stables backed by centralized collateral, real world assets or governance, and instead say yes to assets that are backed by ETH only, that has immutable code and that is governance free. And then here we have they retweeted my tweet saying to learn more about the rationale between Rocket Pool's decision, check out Rocket Pool community member Whack Whack Attack's video, and then there's a link to my tweet, and it says to check their forum discussion, then check out the link, and then there's a link to the forum discussion where that discussion about swapping was taking place. But that was really nice of Liquity to give a shout out back to the Rocket Pool community. I really like it when these handshake moments happens between like really good quality projects and protocols, and Liquity of course is one of those really good ones, so good job. Okay, going back to the Discord now, here we have Joe with a screenshot of the smartnode stack version 2. Actually it says 1.12.0 dev configuration, but there's new in the TUI part, the terminal user interface part of the smartnode stack, there's a new in the smartnode and transaction fee settings, there's a new setting says enable PDAO proposal checker, and the text here, like currently this is set to default is false. It says check this box to check to opt into the responsibility of verifying protocol DAO proposals. Your node will regularly check for new proposals, verify the correctness, and submit challenges to any that do not match the on-chain data, e.g. if someone tampered with voting power and attempted to cheat. To learn more about the PDAO proposal checking duty, including requirements and RPL bonding, please see the documentation at placeholder. So this is just getting ready for the on-chain governance that will be coming to Rocket Pool soon, and Joe's kind of like chipping away at that and making progress towards that every day, which is really exciting and awesome. So thanks for that, Joe. Okay, next we have this update from Lido, and Lido here are saying that they are sunsetting their stSOL token, which is the liquid staking token on Solana. They're sunsetting that, and it says over the coming months, Lido on Solana will be effectively discontinued, and the reasoning behind it was that it's basically a loss-making endeavor. I saw that information somewhere else, and they lost I think like $500,000 by having stSOL on Solana, so they're gonna close that down, which is really interesting because Solana of course is a delegated proof of stake system, and people the staking happen, like just the whole way that staking works is very different to the way staking works on Ethereum. So I guess Lido just couldn't get that foothold into that market, and they couldn't take their success from the Ethereum side over to Solana, so they closing that down. So Lido was traditionally a chain agnostic service, and people like Jasper, for example, and others kind of argued that their alignment isn't with Ethereum, and depending on certain governance issues, it might be that they take a stance that's against Ethereum to protect their interests in other protocols. Potentially that was just the outlier possibility with their governance. If attack of sorts. But it seems like they're getting more kind of coming back more with Ethereum aligned here. And of course, you can argue whether it's genuine or whether this is a cost-saving measure. I'm of course leaning towards the latter, but the fewer other protocols that Lido is on, and just being on Ethereum in itself is a good thing, because it reduces a governance attack that exists by them being on different chains. So there's that. Next, I want to talk about Gravita here, and how they have unveiled Gravita Ascend, which is kind of their points collection system. You collect something called marks. So it says, unveiling Gravita Ascend, Chapter 1, embark on the most exciting cosmic journey in DeFi, earn marks by, and it says like you launch your vessel and keeping it open, providing GRI liquidity, depositing in the stability pool, and completing secondary missions. So here there's then the dashboard, ascend.gravitaprotocol.com, where you can go and check out how many marks you've earned, and the assumption is that eventually that will be turned into an airdrop. I don't know how that will work, but that seems to be like the way that a lot of protocols are kind of approaching the airdrop now. So here it says, Gravita Ascend is our points program. It charts thrilling multi-chain course through DeFi's vast expanse. Let's now unveil the cosmic features and adventures proposed in Chapter 1, complete select mission to earn marks. So they have targets that you can hit, such as the primary missions are keep your vessel open, fuel the stability pool, and channel GRI into chosen liquidity pools. And then all activities are size and time weighted. So the bigger your size, the longer you're in there, the more points you get. And then secondary missions are, launch a vessel, complete our social campaign that's coming soon, and hold on of our POAPs. And then they've got other stuff coming soon as well, such as honors. We tribute our devoted mission control members. We welcome visionaries to design and lead groundbreaking missions, etc. So then they've got a whole bunch of stuff going on there. So it says fairness is key. Bots and cheating will result in immediate exclusion. Read it in our documentation. So people then start asking questions about their marks and stuff. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about here is this kind of social campaign stuff. Complete our social campaign coming soon. So I've talked about Gravita for over a year on Rocket Fuel. In fact, the first time I mentioned Gravita was in September of 2022, just over a month after I started Rocket Fuel. So I've been talking about Gravita for a really long time, and the reason for that is because I've seen it very much as a Rocket Pool aligned protocol. Even though they do have other liquid staking tokens there, Rocket Pool is by far Rocket Pool's RETH is by far the biggest one that they have. So I've been talking about it for a long time. I had Rhett on Launchpad, where he kind of shared his story and his journey to starting Gravita. I talked about their audits and competitions and all sorts of different things that have been happening. So basically, I think that is going to make me eligible for a Gravita airdrop. Now, I wanted to be really open with this, with the Rocket Pool community. I never covered Gravita or any other protocol with the intention of trying to farm an airdrop. I do farm airdrops sometimes, and I talk in the farm airdrop farming thread that's under trading. So you'll see me in there once in a while talking about different protocols that I've interacted with the idea of getting an airdrop. But giving coverage to different protocols on Rocket Fuel with the idea of getting an airdrop is not something I've ever done, and it's not something that I will ever do. Again, this happened with Diva protocol as well, where I was given a large quantity of Diva tokens were airdropped to me, and part of that was because of my reputation and standing in the Rocket Pool community. That was mostly earned through my work on Rocket Fuel. So that is again one of those things that I never gave them coverage with the idea of trying to farm any kind of airdrop. I have given them coverage since, but I don't think that I've given them any preferential treatment or any outsized coverage compared to how I do for any other staking service or protocol. With a lot of these things, what helps is, they'll have team members or protocol they're community members who are frequent in the Rocket Pool Discord, who I interact with, and they just like leave good impressions on me, which is like the same kind of case with Myso, who is one of the founders or like very senior people at Diva. Like whenever I've talked to him in Discord, he's always been a really nice person, and that makes me want to talk about Diva more, right? Or Rhett is a really nice guy. It makes me want to talk about Gravita more. Or whenever I've had positive interactions with people, I feel like, and of course it's their Rocket Pool aligned, of course, or some kind of Ethereum staking aligned, then those people will get more of my time on the show than those who don't have that. So that's not to say that I'm manipulatable or gullible, but I can kind of sense when that's happening. And there's been a couple of instances where I felt like protocols were kind of just leaning on Rocket Fuel in a way to try to get hype, and I didn't want to do that because that didn't feel organic or natural to me. However, with things like Gravita, because so many Rocket Pool people have their RETH in those vaults, that feels like something I'm much more comfortable talking about. And in talking about that, there's a chance that I will then get an airdrop. So I just wanted to make that clear. If anyone has any questions about Rocket Fuel and airdrops that I might or might not earn through doing Rocket Fuel work, I'm happy to talk to the community about that. In fact, I've already started having some conversations with people about how to treat airdrops that I get and what I should do about that. But always, I'll always try to be as clear as possible in my coverage about where my financial incentives lie. And of course, you all know that I am a recipient of GMC grant for Rocket Fuel work. So I just wanted to spend like a couple of minutes kind of clarifying that, just so eventually, if it's the case that at the moment I'm not eligible for much of a Gravita protocol, the only criteria that I apply for is having a POAP. But yeah, but other than that, like what I'm trying to say is, like, if I do get an airdrop, it will be not because I tried to farm it. It will be because I just happened to give Gravita the coverage that I felt Rocket Fuel listeners would find useful. So yeah, please ask me questions about it. I'm very, very open to answering any questions that you all might have. Yeah, okay, that was a bit of a ramble there, but I think I covered most of what I wanted to say about Rocket Fuel and airdrops, kind of, and their intersection and where that lies. But yeah, just to clarify, I will never have any kind of paid or shilling content. I refuse to accept payments for content, and that is not something that I would ever do. Yeah, that's I think that should be clear. Okay, and finally, I just want to talk about this Bitcoin ETF news yesterday that was kind of fake and kind of pumped the price a little bit and then didn't pump the price anymore. So Cointelegraph are basically saying that they're really sorry that this happened, and what happened was there was news going around Telegram, and they kind of just ran with that in a way that they shouldn't have. So you can go ahead and read. You can read this these threads and try to get this information and see what's going on there. But yeah, maybe my accusations of there being like insider trading or something maybe was a bit quick. But read that and you can tell yourself if you believe that or not. And right now Bitcoin is still above 28,000, which is where it was on the pump a couple of days ago, like that small pump. So it seems like the ETF approval news is slowly getting priced in as that Bitcoin price kind of edges up and holds that price as well. But I think there's a chance that the ETF will be approved before the end of the month, and that is going to be very, very interesting to see. But anyway, on that note, I'm going to end today's episode. I'm sorry about that huge ramble at the end there about airdrops, but I think it's good to keep my position clear and let you all know where I stand with that. But anyway, thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.